Hello everyone, and welcome to ILAN Technologies presentation on management and monitoring of DrayTek devices. Today is part 3 in our ongoing webinar series, where we'll look at the management options available in DrayTek access points. My name is Java, and I'm a technical sales specialist here at DrayTek Australia and New Zealand. In today's agenda, we'll look at the dashboard, system maintenance, and diagnostic menus in DrayTek Vigor access points. Then we'll discuss the central AP management features of DrayTek routers and the software-based tools, including Vigor Acs-2 and the new Vigor Acs-3, along with Vigor Connect. We'll round things up by discussing some troubleshooting tips to help you resolve common issues in a Wi-Fi network. And as always, stay tuned at the end, because me and my team will be online for 5 minutes to answer your questions. Let's start looking at what is available in DrayTek Vigor access points. When you log into a Vigor access point, you will be presented with the dashboard. This page has a lot of useful information. At a glance, you can see the device overview, which shows information such as device type, the firmware version, CPU load, as well as wireless information. On this page, you can also see the number of wireless clients per radio, channel load, radio throughput, and the port status. This information over a 24-hour period is also displayed as a graph, so you can easily see the activity trends. And in case you have a wireless mesh network setup, this page will also give you the mesh details. Enabling the central AP management function will allow your Vigor access point to be managed by a Vigor router. Selecting the Enable Auto Provision option will also allow the AP to be configured using the central AP management from a DrayTek router. Here, the wireless LAN profile is pre-configured in the Vigor router, and it can be applied to multiple access points without the need to configure all of them individually. I'll go over the central AP management later on. The Status of Settings menu item within Central AP Management displays the settings related to AP load balance configured in the central AP management in Vigor routers. If you have a wireless mesh network setup, this page will allow you to configure the access point as either a mesh route or mesh node to provide Wi-Fi coverage over a large area using multiple access points. We'll go into a lot more detail on how this mesh function works and how to configure it in another webinar that's coming soon. But for now, let's quickly look at the system maintenance options that are available in DrayTek access points. Most access points will have a similar list of items as shown here. These are somewhat equivalent to DrayTek routers, which we covered in part 1 of this webinar series, so I won't be getting into much details here. I'll just go over a couple of items which are slightly different. The System Status menu gives a good overview of the access point status. Here, you can see the model type, its name, and the firmware version currently installed. Other details include memory usage, LAN and wireless LAN details, and wireless mesh status if this is enabled. Moving on to the management page, where you can enable the Telnet server if you need access to the CLI of the device. The HTTP and HTTPS ports can be changed if required. And under panel control, we can disable the LEDs. This has come about due to requests from customers who didn't want the flashing lights from their access points at some locations. Also, the default configuration wizard function can be enabled here. Let's take a look at the diagnostic functions in DrayTek Vigor APs. Some of the basic steps in troubleshooting Wi-Fi issues include checking if the hardware status is okay. Is it powered up and LED indicators look normal? Checking network settings and connections. Checking that you can ping the router from your computer. Checking if the ISP settings on the router are okay. And finally, a quick reset to factory default settings if required. I'll now go through each of the diagnostic menu items and how they can be used in troubleshooting any issues you may encounter. The very first menu item under Diagnostics is the System Log, which can be used to identify any issues. It also provides updates on wireless activity in the access point. The next menu item is Speed Test. This can be used to give an indication of the Wi-Fi performance by testing the speed to the nearest Wi-Fi device in a mesh network. For cabled access points, it tests the speed to the wired network over the LAN connection. Once you go into the menu, click on the Start button, and the AP will run the speed test and report the upload and download speeds. Try running this test with the access point in different locations within the building. You can use this information to figure out ideal device placements so that you can get the maximum speed possible. The Traffic Graph diagnostic page allows you to view real-time wireless traffic volume for each LAN. It will give you an indication of how busy the wireless network is during the day. You can view daily or weekly traffic by selecting from the pull-down menu. The Wireless LAN 2.4 GHz statistics page displays Wi-Fi traffic details and errors for the 2.4 GHz band. This information may be requested by DrayTek R&D if they need to investigate an issue you have reported. There is a similar function for the 5 GHz Wi-Fi band. It also displays wireless traffic details and errors for the 5 GHz band. Wireless transmission can be affected by the congestion and interference on a Wi-Fi channel. A handy feature added to recent firmware versions is the interference monitor. This can scan the channel that an access point is currently using or all the available channels. The results will help to select the best channel to use for your Wi-Fi network. Please note that the menu options you'll see can vary on different model access points. As I mentioned, we can also view the interference on all Wi-Fi channels. The combination of channel utilization and channel energy is used to distinguish a less crowded channel which is best to use. You can see there are two columns in the chart, channel utilization and channel energy. Channel utilization indicates how congested the channel is or how heavy the traffic is through this channel. The other parameter is channel energy, which shows the level of electromagnetic interference. This interference can come from other APs or background noise in the environment. The background noise may come from other wireless devices and all sorts of electrical appliances around us, such as air conditioners, microwaves, and televisions. Even the electrical cabling itself can generate EMF interference. In the example shown here, the interference monitor recommends using channel 2 since it's less congested and is less affected by electromagnetic interference. I'll now give you a brief overview of the Wi-Fi management tools available from DrayTek to manage your wireless network and devices. This topic was covered in more detail in our previous webinar titled DrayTek Wi-Fi Solutions Part 3. So the aim today is just to let you know what is available. DrayTek access points can be managed individually by using the web GUI built into each device. It only requires the use of a web browser with a laptop or PC. Apps are also available for both Android and Apple iOS devices. For larger installations, it is recommended to use a centralized management tool to monitor and manage the entire Wi-Fi network. The three DrayTek management tools that can be used to configure and monitor DrayTek access points are Central AP Management, Vigor Connect, and the Vigor Acs-2. The first one we look at is Central AP Management. Now, this is a management tool built into DrayTek routers, providing a central console to manage multiple Vigor access points located within the same network. It provides a low-cost method for a small business to configure, monitor, maintain, and provision DrayTek APs. The easy-to-use router web interface simplifies and significantly reduces the time consumed when configuring more than one wireless access point. Please note that access points will need to be connected directly to the router's LAN by UTP cable. The number of APs that can be managed by Central AP Management depends on the router's model that's being used, as shown in the table here. There are a number of options available in Central AP Management menu, allowing you to view and manage a number of access points connected directly to the router. The next management tool is Vigor Connect. This is a TR069 based system to manage up to 100 DrayTek access points on your local network. It's suitable for businesses with multiple Vigor APs and Vigor switches located within a building on the same LAN. Best of all, it's free and is suitable for small networks that don't require the advanced functionality of a central management system, such as the Vigor Acs-2. So, how does it work? As I mentioned, Vigor Connect utilizes the TR069 standard for communication between the Vigor Connect server and up to 100 CPE devices. TR069 is an application layer protocol for remote management of end-user devices. It was developed for automatic configuration of modems, routers, gateways, and access points by using an auto-configuration server. There are several parameters required for communication between the Vigor Connect server and the CPE devices. These are the Vigor Connect URL. This is the internet address of the Vigor Connect server. The periodic inform interval, which is the time period before the CPE device contacts the Vigor Connect server. And finally, username and password, which is used to authenticate the CPE device on the Vigor Connect server. The connection between the CPE device and the Vigor Connect server is not permanent. The CPE device establishes a connection only at specific points in time as determined by the periodic inform interval. This connection, which is called a provisioning session, lasts several seconds. It's important to note that such a session can be initiated only by the CPE device. Vigor Connect will automatically discover DrayTek Vigor APs on the local area network and auto-configure the TR069 settings. In order for this to happen, the access points will need to be at their factory default settings when installed in the network. The Wireless Wizard provides a quick way to perform the initial setup. It involves locating new Vigor access points, adding these devices to Vigor Connect, and finally, configuring profiles. Once all the access points are discovered and added to Vigor Connect, you can then group and monitor these devices based on the network assignment, such as guest room or office area. Next, we have the dashboard view, which provides comprehensive details such as online or offline status, SSIDs, channels, and clients. Simply select an AP to drill down into details for that access point and see information about its current usage and configuration, all collected neatly into one place. The monitoring feature will notify you when an access point loses connectivity or when rogue access points are nearby. In addition, CPU and memory usage is also displayed. The floor plan image of your building can also be uploaded to Vigor Connect. You can then place the access points on the floor plan as shown here. This will aid in their placement to give the best possible coverage. The provisioning feature allows a pre-configured profile to be uploaded to selected access points in the network. This makes it possible to set up the wireless network quickly in just a few minutes. Device maintenance allows regular tasks such as firmware upgrades and config backups and restores to be automated. In this screenshot, we have the firmware upgrade selected to be carried out at a scheduled time. Vigor Connect also records and displays real-time alarms showing the type of fault conditions. The reports list the date, time, type, level, and acknowledged status. You can examine these details and system logs to determine the exact nature of a fault. The last management tool we'll look at is Vigor Acs-2. This is a centralized management system for DrayTek Vigor devices. ACS stands for Auto Configuration Server. It has a user-friendly interface, allowing network administrators to configure, monitor, and manage DrayTek devices remotely. It has all the features of Vigor Connect and more. Plus, it can be used to manage remote networks, so it's not restricted just to your local network. Vigor Acs-2 is a software package from DrayTek, and license keys are available from 25 to 5,000 nodes. Listed here are some of its key features. As you can see, the package offers so much more than Vigor Connect, including automatic remote service provisioning for DrayTek Vigor devices, real-time status monitoring, scheduled firmware upgrades, device performance reporting and system logging, a drag-and-drop VPN configuration wizard, flexible and secure CPE grouping, and as with Vigor Connect, it also features a responsive web design which enables viewing on various screen sizes. Now, the last topic we'll cover today is some tips for improving Wi-Fi networks. Hopefully, this will help you troubleshoot some wireless issues you may encounter. The first one we look at is slow wireless connections. This is mostly due to interference from neighboring wireless devices using a wireless channel close to the channel that you are currently using. As shown in this diagram, adjacent wireless channels overlap, so it is best to have a 5-channel separation between neighboring APs. DrayTek access points have a diagnostic feature called Interference Monitor. Here, it'll scan the wireless network and report on channel utilization, along with the suggested channel you can use with less congestion. Some other points to consider to improve slow Wi-Fi connections are enabling the band steering feature to encourage dual band capable devices to stay on the 5 GHz band. The 5 GHz band provides faster data rates over short distances. This also frees up the 2.4 GHz band, so it'll stay less congested, thereby improving speeds for these wireless clients. It's also important to place access points and routers away from sources of interference, such as ceilings, walls, and metal furnishing, like your shelving and cabinets. A slightly tricky one to troubleshoot is when wireless connections are frequently disconnecting. This can often happen when Wi-Fi roaming has not been adequately set up. To check if this is the cause, look for the DrayRS message in the syslog and the matching MAC address. To verify that Wi-Fi roaming is the cause, you can disable this function. Then refer to the application note number 5764 linked at the bottom there to further troubleshoot and adjust your settings. I'll also include that link in the video description below. When band steering is enabled, the access point will stop handshaking for a few seconds while the wireless client is trying to connect to the 2.4 G band. The default time delay is 15 seconds, but can be modified in the band steering setup page. When we find wireless clients still connect to 2.4 G instead of 5G, we can check the information in the syslog as shown here. For example, the wireless client tries to connect to 2.4 G. The access point will block the connection until the time period has expired. When we find that wireless clients are not connecting to the 5 GHz band, we can check that both the 2.4 and 5 GHz bands are visible from the wireless client when disabling band steering by putting them in separate SSIDs. Also check that 5 GHz is supported on wireless client and check the compatibility between AP and wireless client. When setting up Wi-Fi mesh networks, you sometimes can encounter some difficulties. The first step is to enable the detail log and check the syslogs. You should see connection logs with DMN prefix. If the issue is due to low RSSI, you will see syslog entries similar to the one shown here. The two numbers shown in brackets are the signal strength of the mesh node and the RSSI threshold. The signal strength of the mesh node must be greater than the RSSI threshold. To adjust the RSSI threshold, you can use the telnet command dmn set as shown here. If all else fails, you can use the range extender mode as a workaround. Well, this brings us to the end of our presentation today. To summarize, we looked at the maintenance and diagnostic options available in DrayTek Vigor access points. Usually, the diagnostic tools will be your first point of call when you encounter a network issue before going to more complex troubleshooting tasks. We also looked at some Wi-Fi management tools that are available to manage access points and the Wi-Fi network. And finally, we talked about some troubleshooting tips which may help you if you encounter some of the issues discussed. Okay, so that's it for me, but please stay tuned. Me and my technical team will be answering questions in the live chat on the right of your screen for the next 5 minutes. For more information about DrayTek products, please check out our website at www.draytek.com.au or send us an email to sales@draytek.com.au, or simply give us a call on 0298 388 99. Don't forget to like and subscribe below. And if you'd like a notification of new Premiere videos we're about to launch, or anytime we put up a new video, please give the bell a click too. Thank you very much for joining in today's session. As always, stay masked and keep safe. Till we meet again, goodbye.